Well, welcome back to Lost in Livy. I'm at Bangour Village, Bangour Village Estate, on the site of the Old Bangour Village Hospital, which is at long last being redeveloped for housing. The old hospital here, which was originally set up as a sanatorium in the late 19th century, I think, early 20th century. And I'm starting a ride here because this is clearly going to be a substantial development for housing and where people will live. We're really not very far from Livingston, and I thought it would be an idea to do a wee roundabout, well, maybe not a wee roundabout trip, but a round trip from here down into Livingston, right down maybe to Murieston, and back up the other side of Livingston, a kind of an extended circular tour, kind of back to basics, really to try and show off the paths and the connectivity that you have to get from place to place within Livingston. So it'll be an end-to-end video, probably going to last, I would guess, an hour and 3/4 maybe. I'm taking the cargo bike, the Tern HSD cargo bike. It's coming up for 6 years old now. I'll show you my setup. I'm using the Osmo 360 camera, which gives me a forward view and a rearward view. And what I'll probably do in editing is I'll create two flat files, one forward facing, one looking back at me, so I can be doing piece to camera like I'm doing just now, and then I'll edit these using Final Cut Pro's multicam editing feature, and I'll maybe make some additional little clips that I can fit into the multicam edit for things that we go past on the way. I'll show you the setup here. I'll just take a wee recording there. I'm using small rig clamps to clamp a carbon fibre selfie stick, and the Osmo Action, not the Osmo Action, the Osmo 360 is perched on top of that, round about head height when I'm on the bike, which gives a better perspective than the usual view where the camera is attached to handlebars or a GoPro mount off the handlebars, and giving you a direct view, crotch view, So we'll see how that goes. So let's get ourselves going. Hiya. So we'll see how I'm doing. Just get onto the part made up road. Right, so we're heading out this way, up towards the A89 trunk road. Now there's a toucan crossing, light controlled crossing, which will get me across the road. Maybe come back to that map later on. Plan is I'm doing a round trip. I'm going to finish up here, so we'll see how we get on. You can always tell when you're in brand new smooth tarmac. I've got chunky sort of tyres on this bike, and it makes quite a almost pleasant droning sound. It's just not silent. So we're coming up alongside the A89, and here is the Toucan crossing. There are sensors on this. I don't know how quickly these will respond, because this is a 50-mile-an-hour trunk route. I suspect the sensors are there to check to see that there's no traffic coming before they clear. They're changing now, and then they will probably recognise when the crossing is clear. I've got a choice of going left or right here. I am going left. So we're now on the A89 cycleway, and I'm heading in the I'm heading east in the direction of Lone Path. I could have turned right, which would have taken me west obviously, and that would have taken me up to the top of Nell Path. Both Lone Path and Nell Path give access into the Livingston Path network. And I think that if all goes to plan and you're still watching in an hour and a half or so's time, we'll be coming back up the Nell Path. Just hope the microphone's picking me up over the noise of the traffic. I'm using the DJI Mic Mini, which is attached inside the top pocket of my jacket here. I find it works very well. I don't find that using the inbuilt microphone on the camera works well on when it's attached to the selfie stick and attached to the bike, because it picks up all the rattles, every click and noise that transmits through the frame of the bike. Over there on the left is the village of Dechmont, which I think is going to be swamped by Bangour Village. But actually I could have ridden through Dechmont Village and come out here on Knightsridge Road and crossed over the road there. Lone Path was through Livingston, is actually the original road from Dechmont, Knightsridge Road from Dechmont, all the way down through what became Livingston New Town to the crossing of the River Almond at Howden Bridge. I believe it may have been part of an old drover's road. And that's just passing a woodland path up through Dechmont Woods. Goes across round Dechmont Law. And this is the footbridge over the eastbound off-ramp from the M8 motorway at junction 3. So we go over that, and then we come down this hill to pass under the M8 itself through, whether you want to call it an underpass or a tunnel. The surface in here isn't that great. It's been patched and the patches just make it worse. And that's another wee path across round to Dechmont Law. We're going through, I think these are North Woods. And we'll get Deer Park Golf Course through the fence on the right, and on the left we've got Deer Park Business Park. There's a bit of development going on there, building a Greggs and I think is it a Starbucks or something? I'm not sure, but I suspect that's likely to take on motorway service station facilities. So we've got Deer Park Business Park over there, and Eagle Heights flats over to my right, back there, and access up to Deer Park Golf Club at the top of the road. It's also the start of Carmondine Path, heading up into Carmondine and the Carmondine Centre. Anyway, we shall carry on Lone Path. This next bridge we're coming to, which we'll probably get to just as we catch up with this mobility scooter, is a bridge over the Glasgow to Helensburgh Central Railway line. It goes via Bathgate, Airdrie, Glasgow Queen Street. And beyond that we come to, we're going to be going straight across a railway path. Railway path going to the east or to our left takes us past Houston Industrial Estate onto Uphall Station. If we go to our right, which is west, that takes us along to Livingston North Railway Station and the Carmondine Centre. But we are going straight on. The Lone Path follows the roadway through Morrison Way here. It's a series of little cul-de-sacs from a cul-de-sac. Traffic calmed, 20 mile an hour road, so it's pretty decent. That bike's been there for a couple of days. Wonder if someone's abandoned it. Now there's no drop curb here, that's a thing that's missing, but this curb here is a little bit lower. You can bounce it. And now we're off the road onto the path again. This is passing under Knightsridge North Road, District Road. We've got Knightsridge Primary School over on the left here. And Mosswood Community Centre Garden on our right. That's what we're passing. Coming up to the Knightsridge District shops, and the path off to the left here goes round the school to, it's the start of Grange Path leading to Houston Industrial Estate. That path off to the right there takes us to Ogilvie Primary School, or Ogilvie School Campus, School for Additional Support Needs. I go along there from time to time just to do maintenance on their tricycles. Regular viewers of my channel will know that the way Livingston's road system was set out, you get till the districts are encircled by district roads, and we've got these underpasses which allow the retention of the old paths and routes without having to interact with the motor traffic on the roads, which is what makes Livingston such a great place for walking and cycling. For active travel generally. That's us crossing over Houston Road now, and we're passed out of Knightsridge. We're coming down now into Ladywell. Nice wee play park. And each district has a shopping district shops, and they also seem to have just an individual, like a corner shop, and that was the corner shop that we just passed. That's how I think of them anyway. So, through the bushes or the trees on the right there, we've got Newfarm Bowling Club, Newfarm High School, and Harrismuir Primary School. And we come down here to an intersection of paths. At one time it was a crossroads, but going to the right here, going to the right there is Peel Path, leading ultimately to Peel Park, and going to the left was Harrismuir Path, leading ultimately to Pumferston. Ladywell has the unfortunate distinction of lying directly under the flight path into Edinburgh Airport. And now we're going under the Ladywell District Road. And over to our right now, through the trees, is the Ferns pub and it was the Ferns pub, it hasn't been anything for many years, and the district shops. And with that we exit Ladywell to cross the bridge over Cowsland Road to get down into Howden. It's the A706 road. These gates they've been installed since the last time I recorded the lone path as a video. I think it's been the intention of these gates. I have it on authority now. Where are we here? This is Toronto Primary School here. And if we go the path straight along there, going straight along there past Toronto Primary, that path takes us to Howden Park Centre. The Muse Theatre and the cafe in there as well. The purpose of these gates, I have it on written authority, is to slow down cyclists on the hill. Personally, I find it brings path users into conflict with one another. And this is Mall Path off to the left. As we come down to the Howden shops, and Mall Path goes on over to the right into Howden Park, and it meets up with the Howden Park path. I'm carrying on down Lone Path under the Howden District Road. The totem pole. An original piece of artwork by installed very early on in the LDC, or Livingston Development Corporation's history. Installed by the town artist, made out of spare materials, namely concrete, that he was able to find on site. Just gets a wee bit narrow there, but it's steep, so that handrail's quite useful for a lot of people. And we're coming down to the bottom of the Lone Path here. Gets a wee bit narrow, goes round to the left, but if we were to go over to the right, going to the right there meets up with the bottom of Howden Park path and gives you a crossing of the road we're about to cross. Using an underpass takes you into Almond Park and across by the skate park. And I'm going to cross a road here, some kind of link road. I don't know if it's even got a proper name. Press the button, it is changing. And we will wait and make sure that traffic has stopped. It's not at all unusual to find that traffic doesn't stop there. We could go down the path down there to the left to join the NCN National Cycle Network Route 75, Almond Path going east-west through Livingston. But we're now actually on the Burnside path, going over Howden, the new Howden Bridge. I'll just pause about here. The river is dead still today. We're over the River Almond here. We've got the new Howden Bridge on our right, suitably art-attacked. It carries Howden West Road, is it, or Howden South Road? I'm not sure off the top of my head which. Down to the east is the old Howden Bridge, which is what the original Lone Path road would have met up with. And that bridge used to carry the traffic from Mid-Calder west out through Livingston Toll and westwards out through Blackburn and Whitburn. Is it Whitburn? Yes. And beyond the old Howden Bridge is the new dual carriageway that runs down through Livingston, carrying the A899. It's called the Spine Road. Yep.
Yeah.
And so we've crossed the river now. I suppose the downside of living in a town that's built on a river valley is that you go down one side nice and easy, then you've got to climb up the other side. So we're still following Burnside path, so named because it runs alongside the Dedridge burn, which is down in the behind the bushes there to my right. This path brings us up towards the town centre, to the east end of the town centre. Imaginatively named the centre. We're going up to the left here, but over to the right and just over the bridge there is some more Livingston Development Corporation artwork. Which is featured and been detailed on previous videos of mine. And this underpass brings us into Dedridge East. Still following the burn. I think this is one of the shortest paths. In fact, I think I've measured this as the shortest path in Livingston in terms of the named paths. I think it vies for that title between, it's either the Burnside path or the Howden Park path. It just depends where you choose to start and end the Howden Park path. This is now the end of Burnside path. Over the bridge we join Newfarm path. Turning to the right there would have taken us down to the centre. But we're carrying on southwards along Newfarm path. And at the top of this hill we come up to the Lanthorn, which is a community centre and church, which is on the site of what I believe was Newfarm. Now, the path goes along here to the right. I just think I'm going to take a wee tour through the Lanthorn. It had an issue with its roof, which is after some substantial renovation. The centre has been reopened just recently. So for a long time we were unable to get in here. These sheep have been restored in place of the original things. Cockspur thorn. This tree commemorates the visit of Her Majesty the Queen to Livingston on the 5th of July 1978. About 4 years before I moved here. So I missed her. What a shame. Oh, those two lads were on something strong. Was it two lads or was it a lad and a lassie? Whatever. You could get high just breathing the air behind them. So, kinda looks like school's out. That's a shame when I'm riding along with a camera. So off to the left we've got Dedridge Primary and St Ninian's Primary. And we've just crossed over the Waverley Path. This is unfortunate, I didn't want to get here when schools were out. So the path we crossed there was Waverley Path. Going to the right takes us to Adam Bray. We'll pass Adam Bray on the way back. And had we gone to the left, the path would have taken us to Mid Calder. And that's us going under the Dedridge District Road. This is an old milestone which was situated on the road that went between Mid Calder and Carnwath. That's the main A71 we've just passed under. And we're coming up to the Bankton District Road. Thanks. An awful lot of flying protein about today. And this is the end of the Newfarm path. We're going to join Murieston path now. To the right, we can follow that. You can follow a path along not to the right, to the left. You can follow a path along there to the left, which would take you through under the A71. Eventually goes alongside the Murieston water and into Oak Bank, towards Oak Bank. I must go down there one day and take some photos. It'd be quite nice in the autumn. But we turned right, heading towards Livingston North. Not Livingston North, we're now at Livingston South. Livingston South station. And we're just a wee bit early for autumn colours. This is a lovely wee path. The colours once autumn hits on a sunny autumn day are pretty stunning. This path will eventually join up with the Murieston Trail, which again is just a tree-lined avenue basically. Hello. So just where this mother and daughter are, oops, that wee path going up there would take us to Williamston Primary School, while this path here will take us to the Bankton shops and Livingston South Station. We are going to go pass under the district road and then under the railway around behind the shops and the station. Heard voices. Oh, they're playing in the barn. So the path I'm going to be following sort of crisscrosses the Murieston water. So we're actually going round the back of Livingston South railway station here. Seems hard to believe. We're at the foot of Robin's Lane, which should take us up to the station. And continues up that way. If we go up there, we'll get up to, I think it's Murieston Road. And there isn't really any separate cycling infrastructure in Murieston Road. It's narrowish and can be quite fast, in spite of might even be a 20-mile-an-hour zone, largely ignored. This is Murieston Park, and I'm going to follow this around. I think a lot of these wee paths off to the left involve going up and down steps. We're going down to the right here. Just got to be careful at this edge, this edging strip. There's a bit of a sharp concrete strip, and it can land you up in the mud if you hit it at the wrong angle. And back across Murieston water. Thanks. It's all gravel path along here. It's pretty decent when it's dry. There are a couple of places where it gets muddy. That looks as though it's actually been cut back. The grass looks cut there. An awful lot of trees have fallen over in the storms earlier this year and last winter. Murieston Trail proper actually runs along through the woodland up a wee bit higher up on the other side of Murieston water, but There are several paths that you can go through. I'm taking what I think is the prettiest, sticking by the waterside. Just got a wee steepish climb to join part of the path up here. Now if I was to go back the way, that would take me up to join the Murieston trail proper, about halfway along it. Then I thought I'll just go this way. I'm going to keep following the Murieston water along to the west. So let's go. This is really a very peaceful path to be on. You're away from most noises. Someone up there hammering like blazes, but other than that, just got the sound of water and the birds. If you're really careful, you can hear the grass grow. Thanks. So we cross back over the burn here. Go. It looks like we might be blessed with some sunshine. The sun was shining very brightly this morning, and then it clouded over a bit, and I thought that would be good for coming along here, because the sun at this time of year, this time of day, would be shining straight into the camera here, and it makes riding a wee bit difficult, or it makes filming a wee bit difficult, I should say. And we're about to sort of zigzag around the climb up ahead. That'll take us up to the Murieston trail proper. If you believed everything you read on social media, well, if you believe everything you read on social media, you're a nutter. You need your head examined. You might be persuaded to think that Livingston is a shithole. With a wee bit of effort, in fact, it doesn't take that much effort, you discover some really lovely places. Livingston's actually a pretty decent place altogether. Yeah, right, thanks. Ooh, lots of people. So this is now the Murieston Trail. If I'd gone to the left there, that would have taken me up to Murieston Road, 40-mile-an-hour road. I'm going up to the left here. This is now Dresselrig Lane, heading towards Bellsquarry. And then we will join the Bellsquarry path and follow it along to meet close enough the Murieston Road. Over to my left, we'll get a better view of it once we get to the end of the path, is Murieston Cricket Club or Livingston Cricket Club. I'm not actually sure what they call it. She's got a dog somewhere. So we cross over Murieston Valley here. That's what the road is, Murieston Valley. Get a better view of I think it's a Livingston or Murieston Cricket and Tennis Club. This is a closed road, at least it's closed at one end, kind of quite a lengthy cul-de-sac at the end. There's no vehicular access to Livingston South Rail Station, but there is path access to Livingston South Rail Station. And this is now Dresselrig Lane. Dresselrig being the name of the farm that used to be just to my left, where the houses are now situated. There was a farm and there were quarries around here too. And here we go under the South Rail line. That's the Edinburgh-Glasgow Central line via Shotts. Always used to know it as the slow line to distinguish it from the Edinburgh-Glasgow main line, which goes through Falkirk. Right, we're turning left here. This is Bellsquarry South Road, and Bellsquarry Path, which is what we're on now, is one of Livingston's 24 named core paths. So if I were to carry on along here, we would eventually circle round to the other end of the Murieston Trail. Oh, we've got a lollipop man, school crossing patrol. Hiya. Bellsquarry path. It's kind of strictly down the path, the path alongside the road here. This is a traffic calmed, nominally 20 mph limited road. Leads down to Bellsquarry Primary School. And what we've got here is all the folk driving their probably oversized kids home in their oversized cars. To what are probably oversized homes. I really don't get the need to deliver kids to school in cars, especially local schools. This is entirely school pickup traffic, no doubt taking their kids back home. An easy walking distance or cycling distance. Oof, if you could smell the air, thick with the smell of petrol fumes, diesel fumes. Can anybody explain to me why it's necessary to drive kids to and from school on a journey that would take them at most 15 minutes to walk or less to cycle? The thing that makes it dangerous for cycling is all these blooming cars on the road. Right, here we are at the west end of the Waverley path, heading along there. That'll take you to Crofthead Community Centre and the West Lothian Bike Library, take you along to James Young High School, Dedridge Pond, and to the Newfarm path that we went up, what, not half an hour ago, or less than half an hour ago. And ahead of us on the right is Adam Bray Cemetery. Hence the name Adam Bray, the district being called Adam Bray. Although Adam Bray was actually a farm closer down to Livingston town centre. And this path we're on, Bellsquarry path, was at one time the main road going from Bellsquarry to Livingston Village, crossing over at Livingston Bridge, crossing over the river at Livingston Bridge. Big new housing development over there to my left. There's more housing going on to the right. So just need to take extra care now crossing over there. I really feel that there should be some infrastructure installed there to give priority to the path. Fat chance of that happening in Britain, or Scotland, or West Lothian, or Livingston. Now these bollards in the path here, folk have been trying to get rid of these for years. They actually serve no purpose whatsoever. If you want to access that path, you can do so by turning left and going down the road that's just to the left of those trees and along the path. So we're still on, well, this is really a connecting route, this little stretch. You can see from the trees along the side there, this is where, more flies. This was a road as well. This was the road that Kirkton South Road replaced as the new town was developed. And it now carries the Bellsquarry path, or connects the Bellsquarry path to the Folly Burn path. Now the Folly Burn path crosses over here. I'm coming up to an hour on the battery here. Which makes it a convenient place to stop and change over the battery. And I'll tell you about the road crossing here of how Folly Burn Path crosses the road here into Charlesfield Lane once we've changed the battery. There you are. That didn't hurt, did it? Got a new battery in now. That'll give me, should give me probably an hour and 20 minutes in the battery, but I like to change them out after an hour. So we're at the junction of Bellsquarry Path and Folly Burn Path. We're about to join Folly Burn Path, which leads up to the south there. That would take me to join Alderstone Road, just by the Morrison's supermarket up there, and over Kirkton South Road. It goes down Charlesfield Lane through Livingston Village and on up to meet Alderstone Road, just a little bit south of Livingston North Rail Station. I find it a pleasant alternative to riding on Alderstone Path. If I don't have to go somewhere that Alderstone Path leads to, it's a much more pleasant, quieter route to follow. So if you've watched my videos, or if you go back to one of my very early videos, the first video I did of Folly Burn Path, I flagged up this crossing as being particularly dangerous, just due to the volume of traffic on the road, to the fact that there is no controlled crossing. Oops, battery cover wasn't fully shut. The fact that there's no controlled crossing over Kirkton South Road, and also that crossing over the road brought you to a strip of mud, just muddy verge, to join the actual Folly Burn Path on this side of Kirkton South Road. Before Kirkton South Road was constructed, there were plans, and I believe there actually was an underpass dug out to go below the road, but that was actually never gone ahead with. Which is probably why there is no crossing here. There's a bus stop up there, but there's only steps up to the bus stop. This was a dead end for anybody on a wheelchair or using a mobility scooter or an adaptive trike. And so there had been some campaigning for some time to get just a drop curb and some tarmac to cover the bit of grass verge as a minimum to allow continuity of the path. But in fact, funding was made available a couple of years ago, and about a year ago now, a toucan crossing was installed, a light controlled crossing installed on Kirkton South Road. I am overjoyed that there is now a light controlled crossing here. It makes the crossing a lot safer. You can tell that it's a busy road, there's an amount of traffic on it just now. I'm not enamoured with the layout. When the council, we'll talk about it as we go. Oops. So we go along here following Folly Burn Path to where Folly Burn Path is indicated as crossing over to lead into Charlesfield Lane. You can see here that quads have been coming across this, and there's a few cycle tracks on it as well. This is the piece of tarmac that was installed. Did they not install these gates? And a drop curb. Eh? Aye, You'll find that Cala Homes are building housing there. There's a wee diversion. You can find your way around it. Goes round to the right, but aye, it'll take you up there. Comes out of Morrison's. So there was folk who just followed the desire line, what's called the desire line, straight across, down where they've installed a drop curb. I've had words with the project engineer for this about the layout of the crossing here. The reason given for installing gates here was to slow down cyclists. It's a 10-metre maximum stretch of tarmac leading to it's just crazy. Can't see cyclists getting up an awful lot of speed over here. I would much rather have seen done away with these gates, put some railing in along here, bring the lights closer to the junction so that the railing guides users onto the actual crossing. But I'm going to go along and use the crossing anyway. The response is very good here. As soon as you press the button, it should change. The thing to be very careful of, very wary of, is the number of vehicles that go through the red light. So I've pressed the button, the lights are now changing, and of course it's gone quiet just now. They've gone to red, and there we've got the crossing light. I've actually been going to cross after getting the green man, and had traffic going through just missing me on that crossing. So now we're on to Charlesfield Lane. It's closed to traffic except for access, and there's just one house down at the bottom of the lane just before Killindean Bridge, which requires access. So we're still in Folly Burn Path now. Going down Charlesfield Lane, we'll be crossing over Killindean Bridge, which goes over the Killindean Burn. And we cross the Killindean Path here as well. Hello. So we've got the Killindean Burn down below us, just down through the trees down there. Probably can't, don't know if the camera will see it. I find it very peaceful just sitting down here, and you hear the water. It's better. And then we come down. This road would at one time have led to Charlesfield House, which was demolished to to make up to the construction of Kirkton Business Park. And then we come to Livingston Bridge over the River Almond. Another lovely peaceful place. Nice views down the river there, and Killandine Burn joins the River Almond just a wee bit downstream from here. And up ahead of us is the Livingston Inn. And the Shale Trail path going off to the right there. It's a lovely riverside walk. It's possible to use a bike on it, probably best not in narrowish urban type tyres. And up here we come to Livingston Village with the Livingston Inn. This is part of the National Cycle Network, Route 75. With a path name of Almond Path. And I'm following this. So the Livingston Inn claims to be the oldest standing building in Livingston. And on the left we've got Livingston Kirk, which has been rebuilt I think a couple of times. But there are records going back to, I believe, the 12th century, at least, of some sort of religious site on that location. So this is there's no through road around here. This is all just access to residences. It's all supposedly 20 mile an hour. And I'm going to follow the Lochshot burn going up towards Livingston Station. Could have carried on straight there. That would have taken me ultimately to Almond Valley Heritage Centre. Which some who've lived here for some time would remember as Livingston Mill Farm. I often think that pedestrians with their heads in their phones are almost worse than car drivers sitting texting at the traffic lights or viewing their videos going along as they go along the road. Hope none of my viewers watch any of my vids whilst they're driving a vehicle. If you do, it's time for Nick Nick. Aye, we're getting back up in towards the north of the town. That bit of the town that goes under the flight path. Now we'll be coming up to a nice little bridge going over the Nell burn, and a little bit beyond that will be the south end of the Nell burn path. And I think I'm going to go off up the Nell burn path, and I'll follow that all the way up to the A89 cycleway. Hello. Well, I cycle far afield in Livingston. I meet that chap quite often out walking. This is just a steep zigzag up through Livingston Old Wood. I'm not sure if this is easier on an e-bike or on a regular bike. On the e-bike you've got the weight of the bike to contend with. Thanks. Now straight ahead would take me to Elyburn Reservoir. I'm going left because this is what the Nellburn path is signed. Yeah, on an e-bike you've got the boost from the motor. Sometimes it's just a bit much, but you've got to contend with the weight of the bike. Whereas I actually find that on a regular bike, regular geared bike, you've got more control. It's not so whooshy, because all the whoosh comes from leg and lung power. Leg, lung and lecky. Lecky's sometimes just a wee bit more. And then it's good for you. Having said that, I wouldn't want to ride my cargo bike far without lecky to subsidise the lung and leg and lung power. I have run out of battery before. That wee path down to the right there takes you down to the top of Elyburn Reservoir. I have run out of battery power before, and it's no fun trying to pedal the bike. It can be done, but it's hard work. It's not geared for being ridden without electric assistance. So we're coming up past Elyburn Park here, or through Elyburn Park. Which is, I believe, sponsored in some way through Livingston Football Club. And this is the Nell burn we're going alongside. Hence the name of the path, Nellburn Path. Mind you, I guess I could be really controversial and stir the pot. With different sections of the local community. We've gone through Livingston Old Wood, past Elyburn Reservoir and Elyburn Park, as we follow the route of the Nell burn. The thing about Elyburn is that it takes its name from what is now called the Folly Burn, which is further to the east. And the Folly Burn, or the Ely Burn, as it was originally, doesn't flow into Elyburn Reservoir. The burn that flows into Elyburn Reservoir in Livingston Old Wood is the Nell Burn, which flows down through this part of the town, which Livingston Station locals will know of as the Glen, and they would probably even know of this burn as the Glen Burn. Indeed, many of the streets in Livingston Station have the name of Glen, the Glen in the name. Glen Road is the main road. West Glen Avenue, what have you. So it kind of doesn't seem logical to me to call the reservoir in Livingston Old Wood, which has always been called Livingston Old Wood, for it to be called Elyburn Reservoir. Seems logical to me that it should be called the Nellburn Reservoir or the Glen Reservoir. But then if you're suitably local, you'll just call it the Rizzy or the Resi. And everybody knows what the Resi is. It's the body of water in Livingston Old Wood that the Nell Burn, formerly known as the Glen Burn, flows into after it's been down through the Glen. See, there we go. If that doesn't stir the pot, I don't know what will. Right, watch for school kids. So that's St John Ogilvie Primary School on our right. The path we just crossed there, if we'd gone left, would have taken us directly into Livingston Station, and if we'd gone right, it would lead us to Carmondine Shopping Centre. How long have we been? An hour and 6 minutes. So we're not doing too bad. I think it'll be less than an hour and a half. So I think I said earlier, I'm recording this on the DJI Mic Mini, which is attached to the inside of my top pocket here, and I find it does a really good job. I think it does too good a job of. It makes me sound like I'm constantly out of puff. So yes, from time to time you have to breathe a wee bit harder. And this next wee stretch, getting up to the top of the hill, does involve a little bit of heavyish breathing. But I think the microphone overemphasises it. And this is coming up to Woodland Park. So half an hour ago we were down in Murieston at the south end of the town, which many folk would think of as the posh houses at that end of town. Actually, when I first moved to Livingston, Murieston was almost a separate wee village, and likewise up here Woodlands Park was almost separate from the rest of Livingston, but they both share the same sort of characteristics of individually designed homes, mostly. And nowadays large cars, many cars. That's the M8. And we're coming down to the top of Nell path to rejoin the A89 cycleway. So if I go to the left here, it'll take me on towards Bathgate. If I go to the right, it will take me in towards Edinburgh, and it will take me to Bangour. So we're back to noisy traffic again. Kind of get an idea of the size of the site, the Bangour Hospital site. Coming down from here, although you get an even better view of it, there's a trail goes through the woods. I think I pointed out the west end of it as we were just after we joined the lone path. It's a wee bit higher up. Kind of, there are a few breaks in the trees off there to the right that give you a nice view over the site. Quite a few of the old buildings have actually been demolished, and it looks like some others are either in the process of being demolished or they're being restored. Plenty of traffic here. Now there's a crossing either side of the roundabout that marks the entrance into the estate. The one on the far side that we used earlier, that's light controlled. There's one on this side which is not light controlled. Which one will I use? I think it'll depend on how much traffic there is. Quite a big stream of traffic coming down there. I will go and use the crossing. So over there, if I do it this way, you get a nice view of the, well, I don't know if it's nice, but you get a view of the big entrance that's being constructed there. There aren't many houses that are being constructed just yet. I think it's mostly just what they call marketing suites now. Once upon a time you went to look at a show home or a show house. Now they are marketing suites. So, right, press the button and see how long it takes for the lights to change. They're still at green. My guess is that the lights are sensitive to the volume and speed of traffic before they change. Yeah, there they're changing now, it's gone quieter. Stopping the traffic. We've got green, everything's stopped, which is good. And then they'll no doubt change back very quickly using the sentinel. There they are, they're changing now. So motor traffic isn't actually held up that much, and it looks like the traffic lights are more sensitive perhaps to the movement of traffic than to someone pressing the button for changing the right lights to what I think of changing them to green. So we can come down here. They've got this marketing suite here which doesn't really, it just looks like a hut at the moment. It's all very empty over there. There's definitely nothing much happening. There's a wee map here which I'll maybe stop here and take a separate photo of it. It tells a wee bit story about the development. There we are. So I'll just do a wee. So number 1, primary school and nursery. Number 2, the church. That is the existing church, the old church building. 3, the community pavilion with a proposed new bus stop. 4, the woodland walkway. 5, a woodland stream walkway. 6, a community retail hub. That's promised with all these big developments. They're always the last thing, if at all, to appear. Community leisure facility. That's wonderful. And a community energy centre. Of course, yeah. Community recreation grounds and playing fields. A linear park, that goes alongside the A89. A pedestrian stroke cycle link, that looks like it'll take you pretty much round the whole estate from Dechmont up to Bangour Farm, or the farm up there. 12 is the bus terminus. Then we've got a children's play park. And then interestingly, they've highlighted original heritage buildings in yellow. I wonder if the plan then is to restore these buildings. That would be really nice if they do, because there's some grand old Victorian stonework and stone buildings. So there's the map. Well, we'll go and have a wee look maybe at the just the area that's been developed for homes. We've been, what, an hour and a quarter now. Let's go there. Oh, they haven't got this. We'll just go down this way, there's nothing about. So if we go up the road here, it's all pretty dead end, all closed off. Sales and Information Centre. Welcome to Bangour Village. Well, it looks like 1 or 2 folk are possibly in the houses. A lot of empty shells marked up for sale there. Here we are. There's one of the old villas up there. I will go up top. Can't get through up there. But we'll follow the road around. when I first moved to Livingston, we moved into a new built house on a new build estate, obviously, that was still under construction when we moved into it. And they weren't as closed down as they are nowadays. I remember myself and our neighbours who came home at the end of every day. As soon as the workies were finished for the day, you'd get us all, we'd all be out raking about amongst the waste wood and bits and pieces that were left lying on site. There was nothing left lying there come the morning. And I floored my entire attic and floored the garage with wood that I picked up off the floor. It was good quality stuff too. So we'll let this guy past. So up here you've got all the old pavilions that are no more. Don't want to go onto the grass in case it's meant to be proper grass. Aye. So there you have it. Yeah, these were old pavilions. Over there, I think that's that part of the church there. You can just pick out, probably can't in the camera, pick out the top of the church spire and more of this. Used to go up here for walks. This was a popular place for folk to walk. My mother started her nursing career in Bangour during the Second World War years. She used to tell hairy stories of crossing over the site at night from the nurses' accommodation up at the top of the site, coming down to in between all the pavilions and places. So it's nice to see it being used. Might even add some bonus content and look out some old photos I've got from times I came up here. Urban exploring in the ruins of the old buildings. The old boiler house through there, over there. Right, that has been a decent length of time. Looks like about an hour and 20 minutes if I use the entire video, doing it end to end, which I probably will. So if you've survived that long and you're still sober, congratulations and thanks for riding with me. Ride with me again. Lost in Livy.